What if right now, in another universe, you made a completely different choice that changed everything about your life? And what if that's happening not just once, but an infinite number of times? The multiverse theory isn't just science fiction, it's a real mind-bending idea that suggests every decision, every chance event, splits reality into countless parallel worlds. Think about that for a second. Somewhere out there, another version of you is living every possible life you could have had. Wild, right today, we're diving into 50 shocking secrets of the multiverse that will flip your understanding of reality upside down. From black holes acting as cosmic gateways to the terrifying possibility that ghosts might just be echoes from alternate dimensions, this journey will make you question everything. And here's the craziest part, some of these theories aren't just speculation. They're backed by cutting-edge physics, quantum mechanics, and even ancient myths that somehow knew about parallel worlds long before modern science caught up. So buckle up, because by the end of this video, you won't just see the universe differently, you'll wonder if the you watching this is even the original. Let's jump in. Now let's peel back the first layer of this cosmic onion. Secret number 1. Infinite versions of you are living out every possible life right this second. Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but quantum mechanics actually backs this up. Think of it like Schrödinger's famous cat, the one trapped in a box with a 50-50 chance of being alive or dead until someone checks. Until you open the box, the cat is both alive and dead at the same time. That's the bizarre beauty of quantum superposition. Now scale that up to human life. Every time you face a choice, whether it's something as small as hitting snooze or as big as moving across the country, quantum mechanics suggests reality splits. In one universe, you stayed in bed 5 more minutes. In another, you got up early and stumbled into a life-changing opportunity. And here's the kicker, none of these outcomes cancel the others out. They all happen, just in different branches of the multiverse. So right now, somewhere out there, a version of you is a rock star, another is an astronaut. Another never even left their hometown, and the craziest part, they're all just as real as the you watching this. It's not just theoretical physicists like Hugh Everett argued this is how the universe actually works. Every decision, every random quantum event spawns new timelines, so the next time you wonder, what if? Remember, somewhere you already lived it, but here's where things get even wilder. Secret number 2, black holes might not be cosmic dead ends, they could actually be gateways to other universes. Picture this, you're staring into the abyss of a black hole, where gravity is so intense that not even light can escape. But what if, instead of being crushed into oblivion, you could slip through to an entirely different reality? This isn't just science fiction. The late Stephen Hawking theorized that black holes aren't entirely black. They emit something called Hawking radiation, a faint glow of particles slowly leaking out over time. And here's the twist. Some physicists believe this radiation might carry information about what fell into the black hole, hinting that nothing truly gets destroyed, it just ends up somewhere else. Then there's the ER equals EPR conjecture, a mind-bending idea that links black holes to quantum entanglement. In simple terms, it suggests that wormholes, those hypothetical tunnels through space-time, could be connected to the same phenomenon that makes entangled particles instantly influence each other, no matter how far apart they are. So if 2 black holes were entangled, they might secretly be connected by a wormhole, forming a bridge between distant corners of the multiverse. Think of it like a cosmic subway system. Black holes could be the stations and wormholes the tunnels, shuttling matter, or even entire civilizations between universes. Of course, we've never seen proof of this, but the math doesn't rule it out. So next time you gaze at the night sky, remember, those dark voids might not be endings at all. They could be doorways. Now let's twist the fabric of time itself. Secret number 3. time travel isn't just a sci-fi fantasy, it's technically possible thanks to the multiverse. Imagine hopping into a time machine, going back to the past and accidentally preventing your grandparents from meeting. Classic paradox, right? But here's the multiverse's brilliant loophole. Instead of erasing your existence, you just spawn a brand new timeline where you never existed, while the original universe carries on unchanged. This idea ties into the Novikov self-consistency principle, which basically says the universe hates paradoxes. If you tried to change the past, the laws of physics would conspire to keep events consistent, like a cosmic editor tweaking your actions to fit the original script. For example, your gun might jam when you aim at your grandpa, or you trip at the last second. The multiverse doesn't just allow time travel, it makes sure every change creates a new branch, not a contradiction. Think of it like a choose-your-own-adventure book. Every decision splits the story, but the original plot stays intact. So if you ever do build that time machine, don't worry about breaking reality. The multiverse has infinite backup copies. Now, let's dive into something even stranger: our own memories. Secret number 4. The Mandela effect isn't just about misremembering. What if those so-called false memories are actually glimpses into parallel universes where events did unfold differently? Picture this. You swear you remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, but history books say he passed away in 2013. Or maybe you'd bet your life that the Monopoly man wore a monocle, but nope, he never did. Here's the wild multiverse twist. Instead of chalking it up to faulty memory, imagine your brain is momentarily syncing with a version of reality where those events did happen. In another universe, maybe Mandela did die decades earlier, or the Monopoly man did rock that monocle. Quantum physics suggests particles can exist in multiple states at once. So why couldn't entire events flicker between timelines? Think of it like a radio picking up signals from two stations at once. Sometimes the static clears just enough to hear a different broadcast, one where Berenstain Bears were spelled with an E, not an A. The multiverse might be leaking into our minds, leaving behind these eerie, shared memories that don't match our world's history. So next time someone corrects you, just smile and say, or maybe you're from the wrong universe. Now let's shift our gaze to one of the biggest cosmic puzzles: dark matter. What if the answer isn't hidden in our universe at all? Secret number 5. Dark matter might actually be the gravitational pull from other universes brushing against ours. Here's how it works. Imagine our universe as a slice of bread floating in a gigantic cosmic loaf. That's the idea behind brane cosmology, where our reality exists on a membrane or brane drifting through higher dimensional space. Other branes, each with their own universes, could be hovering just out of reach, separated by dimensions we can't perceive. But gravity, unlike other forces, might be able to leak across these hidden dimensions. So when scientists detect the gravitational tug of invisible matter holding galaxies together, they might not be measuring something missing in our universe, but feeling the weight of another universe entirely. Think of it like sensing the vibrations of a neighbor's music through a shared wall. You can't see their stereo, but you know it's there. This theory flips the script on dark matter's mystery. It's not that we're failing to find particles in our universe, it's that we're literally feeling the gravity of realities beyond our own. And if that's true, the multiverse isn't just a sci-fi concept, it's tugging on our galaxies right now. Now, let's take a wild leap into the realm of imagination, because what if every story you've ever loved wasn't just fiction? Secret number 6. Every fictional universe, from Star Wars to Harry Potter, might actually exist somewhere in the multiverse. This idea comes from a philosophy called modal realism, which argues that every possible world you can conceive of is just as real as our own. Think of it like this: every time you imagine an alternate version of reality, whether it's a galaxy far, far away or a school for wizards, you're not just daydreaming. You're glimpsing a parallel universe that physically exists with its own laws of physics and history. Modal realism flips the script on what we consider real. It suggests that the only difference between our universe and, say, Middle-earth is that we happen to live in this one. The others are just as concrete, just as vivid, just separated by dimensions we can't access. So next time you lose yourself in a book or movie, remember, you might not just be escaping into a story. You could be brushing up against a reality where lightsabers duel in the stars or owls deliver acceptance letters. The multiverse doesn't just contain every possible version of our world. It contains every possible world, period. And that means somewhere out there, your wildest fantasies are already real. But hold on to that thought, because things are about to get even stranger. Now, let's venture into one of the most unsettling corners of multiverse theory, where life and death take on a bizarre twist. Secret number 7, quantum suicide and immortality. Imagine a scenario where you simply cannot die, at least not from your own perspective. Here's how it works. Picture a deadly experiment, like a gun rigged to fire based on a quantum event, say, the decay of a radioactive atom. In one universe, the gun fires and you die. But in another, the atom doesn't decay, the gun doesn't go off, and you survive. Now, according to the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, both outcomes happen just in separate branches of reality. Here's the mind-bending part. From your subjective experience, you'd only ever find yourself in the universes where you survive. The versions of you that die cease to experience anything, while the ones that live continue on, completely unaware of the other outcomes. So no matter how many times you repeat this experiment, you'd always end up alive, convinced you've beaten the odds when in reality, countless versions of you haven't. This thought experiment, called quantum immortality, suggests that your consciousness might always hop to the timeline where you persist, no matter how improbable survival seems. It's not about invincibility, it's about the eerie way probability collapses from your own viewpoint. Of course, this raises unsettling questions. Could people who cheat death in freak accidents actually be experiencing this phenomenon? And if so, what does that mean for how we understand reality? But before we spiral too deep into existential dread, let's shift gears, because the multiverse has even stranger ways to warp our sense of self. Now, let's take a sharp turn into something that might make you question everything. Secret number 8. The universe is a simulation, and the multiverse might be the ultimate evidence. Think about this for a second. If infinite realities exist, as multiverse theory suggests, then the odds that we're living in the one base reality start to look pretty slim. It's like rolling a die with an endless number of sides. What are the chances ours is the only real one? This is where simulation theory crashes the party, arguing that if civilizations can eventually create hyper-realistic virtual worlds, there are likely way more simulated universes than organic ones. So statistically, we're probably inside someone else's computer, but here's where it gets wilder. The multiverse could actually be the backbone of this simulation. Picture a vast cosmic server farm running countless alternate realities simultaneously, each tweaked with slightly different rules, some where gravity is stronger, others where time flows backward. Even glitches in our world, like déjà vu or unexplainable coincidences, might just be buffering issues in the code. And before you dismiss this as sci-fi, some heavyweight physicists take it seriously. Elon Musk famously said the odds we're not in a simulation are 1 in billions. Even Nobel laureate Frank Wilczek has toyed with the idea that reality might be pixelated at the smallest scales, like a cosmic video game rendering at Planck resolution. So what does this mean for you? Well, if we're living in a simulation nested inside a multiverse, then your choices might not just branch into parallel worlds. They could be predetermined variables in some higher dimensional programmer's experiment. But don't let that fry your brain just yet, because up next we're diving into an even trippier idea. what if your consciousness isn't just observing this reality, but jumping between them? Now, let's stretch your mind even further with secret number 9. Your consciousness isn't just along for the ride in this universe. It might be hopping between realities without you even realizing it. This idea, called quantum immortality, suggests that your awareness doesn't just stay put in one timeline. Imagine you're in a car accident. Statistically, in some universes you'd survive and in others you wouldn't. But here's the twist: your consciousness would only ever experience the versions where you make it. It's like a cosmic game of musical chairs where you're always landing in a reality where you're still alive. Think of it this way: every near miss or close call you've ever had might not just be luck. It could be your awareness shifting to a timeline where the worst didn't happen. Even wilder, this could mean that from your perspective, you'd never actually experience death, just an unbroken chain of realities where you keep going. Some physicists argue this is a natural extension of the many worlds interpretation. If every possible outcome exists, then your subjective experience would naturally follow the path where you survive. It's not about cheating death, it's about the fact that death for you would always be someone else's reality. Now, before you start testing this theory by playing in traffic, remember, this is all speculative. But it does raise a fascinating question. If consciousness can navigate the multiverse, what else might be possible? And speaking of possibilities, the next secret will make you wonder if some civilizations out there aren't just ahead of us, they might be from entirely different universes. Now, let's take a leap into one of the most tantalizing possibilities. What if we're not just alone in our universe, but we're also the latecomers in the multiverse? Secret number 10 dives into the idea of parallel civilizations that might be light years ahead of us, not because they had more time, but because their universes handed them a different set of rules. Imagine a reality where the speed of light is faster, or gravity is weaker. Tiny tweaks in physics could have let civilizations there crack interstellar travel while we were still figuring out fire. This isn't just sci-fi speculation. The Fermi paradox, the eerie silence of the cosmos despite the high probability of alien life, might have a multiverse twist. If advanced civilizations exist, why haven't we seen them? Well, what if they're not in our universe at all? Maybe they're thriving in a neighboring reality where physics made their rise inevitable. Some theories even suggest that universes with just right physics for hyper-advanced life might be rare, explaining why we don't see signs of them here. Or worse, what if they can cross into our universe but choose not to? The idea of interdimensional quarantine isn't just creepy. It's a real solution some scientists toy with to explain the silence. And here's the kicker: if civilizations can outgrow their own universes, the most advanced beings might not even be from ours. They could be multiverse nomads hopping between realities we can't even perceive. So the next time you stare at the stars wondering where everyone is, remember, they might not be hiding. They might just be playing by a different set of rules. In a universe next door, and speaking of rules, our next secret will make you question whether the Big Bang was even the beginning, or just a collision in a much larger cosmic game. Now, let's rewind the cosmic clock to a moment before the Big Bang, because what if it wasn't a bang at all? Secret 11 flips the script on the birth of our universe with the ekpyrotic model, a theory that suggests our cosmos wasn't born from a single explosive point, but from a colossal collision between two four-dimensional membranes floating in a higher dimensional space. Picture this: imagine two enormous sheets of reality drifting through an unseen dimension like ghostly sails in the dark. When they finally smashed into each other, the energy of that impact didn't just create stars and galaxies, it sparked our entire universe into existence. This isn't just poetic imagery, it's a serious challenge to the classic Big Bang narrative. Here's where it gets wild. These membranes, or branes as physicists call them, could be endlessly ricocheting through higher dimensions, cycling through collisions that birth new universes over and over. That means our Big Bang might have been just one link in an infinite chain of cosmic crashes, with each collision resetting the universe like a cosmic etch-a-sketch. And the implications: if this model is true, there could be other universes out there, born from their own brain collisions, each with different physics, different histories, maybe even different versions of us. It's a humbling thought. Everything we know might just be the aftermath of a fender bender in a dimension we can't even see. So the next time someone says the universe began with a bang, you might just smile, because the truth could be far stranger and far more spectacular than we ever imagined. And speaking of spectacular, our next secret will make you question whether you've lived this exact life before infinite times. Now, let's take a step into the dizzying idea that your life isn't just happening once, it's happening infinite times. Secret 12 drags us into the concept of eternal recurrence, a theory that suggests the universe doesn't just repeat itself in broad strokes, but down to the tiniest, most mundane details. Imagine every laugh, every heartbreak, every single choice you've ever made replaying exactly the same way, over and over, across endless cycles of time. This isn't just science fiction, it's a serious philosophical and scientific proposition. Some cyclic multiverse models propose that when our universe eventually collapses or fades out, it doesn't just vanish. Instead, it rebounds, resetting with the same initial conditions, leading to the same Big Bang, the same stars, the same planets, and the same you living the same life, unaware of the loop. Think about it: the coffee you spilled this morning, it's happened before, infinite times. The song you can't get out of your head, it's been stuck there in every cycle. Even the moment you're hearing this right now, it's unfolded identically in countless other iterations of reality. But here's the twist: if eternal recurrence is real, it means free will might be an illusion. Every decision you think you're making freely could just be a predetermined step in an infinite cosmic rerun. It's a haunting thought, but also weirdly comforting, like the universe is a record stuck on repeat, and we're all just dancing to the same groove. And if that doesn't bend your mind enough, wait until you hear about the next secret, where ghosts might not be spirits of the dead, but something far stranger bleeding through from other dimensions. Now let's shift gears to something even spookier. What if ghosts aren't what we've always imagined? Secret 13 flips the script on paranormal activity, suggesting that those eerie whispers, cold spots, and shadowy figures might not be spirits of the dead at all. Instead, they could be dimensional echoes bleed through from parallel universes where the laws of physics are just different enough to let consciousness linger. Think about it like a radio picking up signals from another station. In some alternate realities, the boundary between life and whatever comes after might be thinner, or maybe energy behaves in ways that allow traces of people to persist. When those universes brush against ours, we might catch glimpses of their inhabitants, like static interference between channels. This idea isn't just wild speculation. Some physicists argue that if the multiverse is real, then universes with slightly tweaked physics must exist. In one of them, maybe the brain's electrical activity doesn't fully dissipate after death, leaving behind a kind of imprint. When that universe's version of you passes away, their echo could briefly flicker into our world, explaining ghostly apparitions or déjà vu-like encounters with strangers who feel eerily familiar. And here's the kicker: if ghosts are interdimensional leaks, it means every haunted house might just be a cosmic glitch, a place where reality's walls are unusually thin. So next time you feel a chill down your spine, ask yourself, are you sensing the supernatural, or just catching a whisper from another you in a universe where the rules are a little different? But hold on, because the next secret takes this even further. What if those aliens we've been searching for aren't from distant stars, but from dimensions right next door? Now let's take this interdimensional idea even further. What if the so-called aliens abducting people aren't visitors from another planet, but neighbors from a universe literally stacked next to ours? Secret 14 flips the script on extraterrestrial encounters by suggesting these beings might not be crossing vast stretches of space to reach us. Instead, they could be slipping through hidden dimensions like tenants in an apartment building walking through a shared wall. This theory ties into something called brane cosmology, the idea that our universe is just one three-dimensional membrane floating in a higher dimensional space with other brane worlds hovering nearby. If these parallel realities have different physical laws, their inhabitants might possess technology or even biology that lets them traverse these extra dimensions. To them, abducting someone might be as simple as stepping through a doorway we can't even perceive. Think of it like ants on a sheet of paper. If you reached down from above, you could pluck one up without traveling across the paper's surface. To the ant, you'd seem to appear out of nowhere, just like how abductees describe aliens materializing in their bedrooms. And if these beings live in a universe where time flows differently, it could explain missing hours during abductions or the eerie feeling of being outside normal reality. Here's the wild part. If this is true, then UFOs might not be spacecraft at all, but interdimensional vehicles shifting between branes like submarines diving between layers of an ocean. Some physicists even speculate that phenomena like ball lightning or sudden atmospheric anomalies could be side effects of these crossings, like ripples when a door opens between worlds. So next time you hear about a mysterious abduction, ask yourself, are we dealing with little green men from Zeta Reticuli or something far stranger, beings who've been right beside us all along, separated by a dimension we can't see? And if that doesn't make you glance over your shoulder, wait until you hear how this connects to dreams. But what if those strange, vivid dreams you have at night aren't just random brain activity? Buckle up, because Secret 15 suggests your sleeping mind might actually be tuning into alternate versions of you across the multiverse. Imagine this: every time you slip into REM sleep, your brain could be acting like a cosmic radio, picking up signals from other realities where your life took different turns. This wild idea ties back to quantum entanglement, that spooky connection where particles instantly influence each other, no matter how far apart they are. If consciousness is somehow linked to quantum processes, then your dreaming brain might be entangled with versions of yourself in parallel worlds. That déjà vu feeling when you dream of a place you've never visited. Could be a memory from another you. That bizarre dream where you're a rock star or an astronaut might be a glimpse of a life you're actually living somewhere else. Scientists have noticed that during REM sleep, the brain's electrical activity mirrors patterns seen in waking consciousness, almost as if it's processing real experiences, not just fantasies. Some theorists take this further, proposing that dreams are less like movies and more like windows, with your brain temporarily syncing to alternate timelines through quantum vibrations. Even ancient cultures suspected this. The Aboriginal people of Australia spoke of the dream time as a layer of reality where past, present, and future intertwine. Here's where it gets trippier. If dreams are multiverse leaks, then lucid dreaming, where you control the dream, might be your subconscious steering you towards specific branches. Ever had a nightmare where you suddenly realize it's not real and change the outcome? That could be your awareness briefly choosing which universe to experience. And if other versions of you are dreaming too, your midnight adventures might be their daytime realities. So tonight, when your head hits the pillow, ask yourself, are you just dreaming or vacationing in another universe's life? And if that thought doesn't make you eager to hit snooze tomorrow morning, just wait, because next, we're diving into why the universe seems too perfect for life to exist now. Let's tackle one of the most mind-bending questions of all. Why does our universe seem custom-made for life? This is Secret 16. The universe might have fine-tuned itself, and we're just the lucky winners of a cosmic lottery. Think about it. The laws of physics in our universe are bizarrely precise. If gravity were slightly stronger, stars would burn out too fast. If the electromagnetic force were weaker, atoms wouldn't hold together. even tiny changes to these constants would make life impossible. So how did we hit the jackpot? Enter the anthropic principle, the idea that our universe's conditions aren't random, but necessary for us to be here observing them. Here's where the multiverse flips the script. If infinite universes exist with different physics, most would be barren, too hot, too chaotic, or too empty. But in a handful, the numbers just line up for life, and guess what? We're in one of those rare Goldilocks universes because, well, we couldn't be anywhere else. It's like walking into a casino and seeing someone hit $1 million slot machine. You might think, wow, what are the odds? But in a multiverse, someone had to win, and this time it's us. Critics call this a cop-out, but the math backs it up. String theory alone predicts 10 to the power of 500 possible universes, each with unique rules. That's a 1 followed by 500 zeros, more universes than atoms in our observable cosmos. With odds like that, it's less surprising that we exist and more surprising if we didn't. And here's the kicker, this might explain the universe's eerie perfection without needing a designer. No divine hand, no cosmic accident, just sheer probability playing out across infinite realities. So the next time you marvel at a sunset or the complexity of DNA, remember, you're not just lucky, you're statistically inevitable. But hold on, because next up, we're diving into a universe that might be your exact opposite. A mirror reality where time runs backward and matter is flipped inside out. Now, let's flip the script literally. Imagine a universe where everything is the opposite of ours. Time runs backward, matter is replaced by antimatter, and even left and right are swapped. This is Secret 17. You can't prove this isn't already happening. Welcome to the wild world of CPT symmetry. In physics, CPT stands for charge, parity, and time, 3 fundamental symmetries that, when combined, should leave the laws of nature unchanged. Here's the twist, if you flip all 3 at once, you might just create a perfect mirror universe. Picture our cosmos as a reflection in a cosmic funhouse mirror, where particles are antiparticles, clocks tick in reverse, and your left hand is suddenly your right. The math checks out. According to quantum field theory, a universe with these flipped properties would behave exactly like ours. Stars would shine, planets would orbit, and life might even arise, just with everything running in reverse. So why don't we notice? Because if such a universe exists, it's forever cut off from ours by the Big Bang's fiery birth. It's like 2 sides of the same coin, forever separated by the edge. But here's where it gets eerie. Some theorists argue this mirror universe must exist to balance the equations of reality. Think of it as cosmic bookkeeping. For every particle here, there's an antiparticle there. For every moment forward here, a moment backward there. Even stranger, if you could somehow peek into this entire universe, you'd see what looks like our past unfolding in reverse, like watching a movie rewinding from the future. Critics call it a mathematical curiosity, but the implications are staggering. What if the mirror you is living your life backward right now from death to birth? What if black holes in that universe are white holes spewing matter into ours? And most unsettling of all, what if we're the mirror universe to someone else? The truth is, we may never know, but that's the beauty of the multiverse. It keeps us guessing. And speaking of cosmic doubles, up next we'll explore an even stranger idea. That the universe might be teeming with self-aware entities that aren't even alive, at least not in the way you'd expect. Now let's venture into one of the most unsettling ideas the multiverse has to offer. Picture this, what if you're not the person you think you are? What if, instead of being a flesh and blood human with a lifetime of memories, you're just a fleeting thought, a momentary spark of awareness conjured out of nothingness? That's Secret 18. Boltzmann brains outnumber you, and statistically, you're more likely to be one than the biological version of yourself. Here's how this mind-bending concept works. In an infinite universe, or better yet, an infinite multiverse, random quantum fluctuations can, given enough time, create anything, and I mean anything. A single atom arranging itself into a brief illusion of order, sure. A fully formed galaxy popping into existence for a split second, why not? But here's the kicker. Among all those random fluctuations, the simplest self-aware entity might just be a lone brain complete with false memories floating in the void. Physicists call these hypothetical entities Boltzmann brains, named after Ludwig Boltzmann, the scientist who first grappled with the bizarre implications of infinity. Think about it like this. In a cosmos that lasts forever, the odds of a fully formed, conscious brain spontaneously assembling from chaos are astronomically low, but not zero. And when you stack infinity against those odds, suddenly, Boltzmann brains become inevitable. In fact, they'd vastly outnumber real, biologically evolved beings like us. So statistically speaking, it's far more probable that you are one of these phantom minds, briefly convinced you're a person living on Earth rather than an actual human with a real past. Now, before you start questioning your own existence, let's add another layer. Some versions of multiverse theory suggest that Boltzmann brains wouldn't just be random accidents. They might be observers flickering in and out of existence, each one experiencing its own subjective reality. Imagine a universe where these disembodied minds outnumber stars, each one believing for a fleeting moment that it's you. Of course, this raises a glaring question. If Boltzmann brains are more likely, why does reality feel so consistent? Shouldn't we all be dissolving into chaos by now? Well, some physicists argue that the very fact we're having this conversation disproves the idea, because if we were Boltzmann brains, our memories and perceptions would be too fragmented to even form coherent thoughts. But others counter that in an infinite multiverse, even the most improbable stable experiences must happen somewhere. So where does that leave us? Either we're the rare, lucky biological minds in a sea of transient illusions, or we're the illusions ourselves, destined to vanish as quickly as we appeared. Either way, the multiverse keeps us guessing. And speaking of cosmic mysteries, up next we'll dive into an idea that suggests the entire multiverse might be repeating itself down to the tiniest detail. Now let's zoom out and see the multiverse from an entirely new perspective, one where reality isn't just infinite, but infinitely repeating. Secret 19 reveals something astonishing. The multiverse might be a fractal, a cosmic pattern that echoes itself at every scale, from the tiniest particles to the vastest galaxies, and even across alternate realities. Picture a snowflake. No matter how closely you look, its intricate branches keep revealing smaller, identical branches. That's the essence of a fractal, a shape that repeats itself endlessly, no matter how far you zoom in or out. Now imagine the universe works the same way. Atoms mirror solar systems, galaxies resemble neural networks in your brain, and the structure of alternate realities might follow the same blueprint. This is the fractal universe hypothesis, and it suggests that the multiverse isn't just random, it's organized in a way that's eerily symmetrical. Here's where it gets wild. If the multiverse is truly fractal, then every alternate reality might contain smaller versions of itself, like nesting dolls made of space and time. A galaxy in one universe could house an entire cosmos in its atoms, while that cosmos might, in turn, hold another universe inside its particles. It's a dizzying thought. You could be standing in a universe that's simultaneously inside another universe, all the way up and down the scale. But why would reality work this way? Some physicists argue it's the most efficient design, a kind of cosmic recycling where the same rules apply everywhere, just at different sizes. Others think it hints at a deeper, hidden order, like the universe is solving an equation we haven't cracked yet. And if they're right, it means the patterns in your fingerprints might share a mathematical kinship with the spiral arms of distant galaxies. Now here's the twist. If the multiverse is fractal, then every choice you make could ripple across scales, echoing in realities both larger and smaller than your own. A decision in this universe might play out in infinite variations elsewhere, like a melody harmonizing with itself across dimensions. So, the next time you look at a seashell or a fern, remember, you might be staring at a tiny piece of the multiverse's grand design. And speaking of designs, wait until you hear the next secret where time itself might not be what it seems. Now, let's unravel one of the most mind-bending secrets of all. Time itself might not be what we think it is. Secret 20 flips everything on its head. Time could be nothing more than an illusion, a trick of perception in a multiverse where every moment exists simultaneously. Think of reality like a book. We experience life page by page, convinced that the past is gone and the future hasn't happened yet. But what if the entire book already exists and now is just the sentence your consciousness happens to be reading? That's the core idea here. In multiverse models, time isn't a flowing river. It's more like a frozen landscape where every moment, from the Big Bang to the heat death of the universe, sits side by side, equally real. Here's the kicker: your sense of now might just be your brain's way of navigating this eternal mosaic. Imagine a film reel where every frame is a snapshot of the universe at a different instant. Normally, a projector lights up one frame at a time, creating the illusion of motion. But if you could see the entire reel at once, you'd realize every moment is equally present. The multiverse might work the same way, with your consciousness acting as the projector's light, giving you the feeling of time passing as it moves from one frame to the next. This idea isn't just philosophy. Physics backs it up. Einstein's theory of relativity already shattered the notion of a universal now, showing that time is flexible, slowing down near black holes or speeding up in space. Quantum mechanics takes it further, suggesting particles can exist in multiple states until observed, as if time is waiting for consciousness to choose a path. So what does this mean for you? If every moment is equally real, then your childhood, your future, and every decision you'll ever make are all out there, fixed in the multiverse's tapestry. The you reading this is just one slice of an infinite, timeless existence. It's a humbling thought, but also liberating. After all, if time is an illusion, then so is the pressure to race against it. And if that's not enough to bend your mind, wait until you hear the next secret where even your déjà vu might be a glimpse into the multiverse's tangled threads. Now let's dive into something that's probably happened to you, that eerie feeling of déjà vu where a moment feels strangely familiar, as if you've lived it before. But what if it's not just a trick of the mind? Secret 21 suggests your déjà vu might actually be a fleeting connection to a parallel version of yourself in another timeline. Picture this: every decision you make splits the universe into multiple branches, each one carrying a different outcome. In one of those branches, another you experienced this exact moment, maybe with a tiny variation before you did. Déjà vu could be your brain briefly syncing up with that other version's memories, like a radio picking up a faint signal from a nearby station. It's not a glitch in your mind, it's a glitch in the multiverse, a momentary overlap between realities. This idea gets even wilder when you consider quantum mechanics. Particles can become entangled, instantly influencing each other across vast distances. If particles can do it, why not consciousness? Some theories propose that our brains might be quantum computers, capable of tapping into information from other timelines. That spine-tingling sense of "I've been here before" could be your neural hardware briefly accessing data from a parallel universe's hard drive. And here's the twist: déjà vu often happens during mundane moments, walking down a street, hearing a conversation, even watching a video like this one. That's because the multiverse isn't just about dramatic alternate histories. It's also filled with nearly identical realities where the differences are subtle, like you chose tea instead of coffee this morning or took a left turn instead of a right. Those tiny divergences could still leave traces in your memory, surfacing as déjà vu. So next time you get that uncanny feeling, don't dismiss it. You might be brushing up against another you in a universe so close it's practically whispering in your ear. And if that makes you question which memories are truly yours, Just wait until we explore how the multiverse could be hiding entire civilizations just out of reach. Now, let's peel back another layer of the multiverse because it turns out reality might be more like an onion than we ever imagined. Secret 22 reveals that the multiverse isn't just one chaotic jumble of alternate worlds. According to physicist Max Tegmark, it's actually structured into 4 distinct levels, each more mind-bending than the last. First up, Level 1, the cosmological multiverse. Picture our universe as a bubble floating in an infinite cosmic ocean. Beyond what we can observe, space stretches forever, and somewhere out there, identical copies of you are living nearly identical lives, maybe reading this script right now, but in a galaxy a trillion light years away. The laws of physics are the same, but the arrangements of matter might differ slightly. It's like shuffling a deck of cards. Eventually, the same hands reappear. Then there's Level 2, the inflationary multiverse. This one's wilder. Imagine our universe isn't the only bubble. The Big Bang might have been just one of countless eruptions in an eternally expanding higher dimensional space, each bubble universe with its own unique physics. Some could have stronger gravity, others might have no stars at all. It's like a cosmic soda pop, fizzing with universes where the fundamental rules change from bubble to bubble. Level 3 is where things get quantum. This is the many worlds interpretation we've touched on before. Every quantum decision spawns a new branch. But here's the twist, these branches aren't separate places. They're all part of the same infinite, ever-diverging wave function, like threads in a tapestry weaving endlessly outward. Your alternate selves aren't elsewhere, they're right here, just on threads you can't perceive. Finally, Level 4, the mathematical multiverse. Tegmark's most radical idea suggests that every possible mathematical structure is a real, physical universe. If numbers can describe it, it exists somewhere. A reality where time runs backward, check. A universe shaped like a donut, it's out there. This level doesn't just include all possible laws of physics, it includes realities where physics as we know it doesn't even apply. So why does this matter? Because it means the multiverse isn't just sci-fi speculation. It's a framework scientists use to tackle cosmic mysteries, from why our universe seems fine-tuned for life to what might lie beyond the limits of observation. And if Tegmark's right, the onion has infinite layers, each one hiding realities stranger than we've dared to dream. Speaking of dreams, wait until you hear how they might be windows into these other layers, but that's a secret for another time. Now let's untangle one of the most bizarre quirks of quantum physics, because Einstein's so-called spooky action at a distance might not just be spooky, it could be multiversal. Secret 23 dives into the idea that quantum entanglement, that strange phenomenon where particles instantly influence each other no matter how far apart they are, might not be limited to our universe. What if those linked particles are actually whispering to each other across alternate realities? Here's the mind bender. When two particles become entangled, measuring one instantly determines the state of the other, even if they're light years apart. Einstein hated this, calling it spooky because it seemed to break the speed of light rule. But in the multiverse framework, there's a wild possibility. Those particles aren't just connected through space. They might be tied together across parallel branches of reality. Picture this, every time you measure an entangled particle, you're not just collapsing its state in this universe. You might be syncing it with versions of itself in other timelines, like tuning a radio to the same frequency across multiple dimensions. Some theorists argue this could explain why entanglement defies classical physics. If particles share a quantum link that spans universes, their instant communication isn't happening across vast distances in our world. It's hopping between realities where their counterparts already align. It's like having twin dancers in separate rooms mirroring each other's moves perfectly, not because they're signaling, but because they're fundamentally the same performance playing out in different spaces. And if this is true, it reshapes how we see reality. Entanglement might be the glue holding the multiverse together, a hidden network of connections weaving through alternate versions of existence. Next time you hear about quantum computers harnessing entangled particles, remember, they might not just be processing data in this universe, they could be tapping into a cosmic internet of infinite realities. Which makes you wonder if particles can chat across dimensions. Could we? Well, that's a secret for another day. Now, let's take a step into one of the most radical ideas in physics, where every choice you make doesn't just change your future, it literally splits the universe. Secret 24 pulls back the curtain on Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation, and trust me, it's going to rewrite how you see every decision you've ever made. Here's the core idea. In quantum mechanics, particles exist in a haze of possibilities until they're observed. But Everett flipped the script. He said observation doesn't just collapse those possibilities into one outcome. Instead, every possible outcome actually happens, each in its own branching timeline. Think of it like a choose-your-own-adventure book where you don't just pick one path, you live all of them simultaneously in parallel universes. Picture this, you're deciding whether to turn left or right at a crossroads. Classic physics says you pick one, and that's that. But the many worlds interpretation says both choices play out just in different universes. In one reality, you turn left and stumble on a hidden cafe. In another, you turn right and bump into an old friend. Neither is more real than the other. The universe doesn't eliminate options, it multiplies them, and it gets wilder. This isn't just about big life choices. Every tiny quantum event, an electron's spin, a photon's path triggers new branches. That means right now, there are countless versions of you, each living out every conceivable variation of your life. Somewhere you're a rock star, somewhere else you're an astronaut. And yes, somewhere you probably made that questionable haircut decision in high school. Critics ask, if these branches are real, why can't we see them? Everett's answer, they're perfectly real, just forever out of reach. Each universe evolves independently, like trains on parallel tracks, never intersecting. But here's the kicker, this isn't sci-fi. It's a legitimate framework that solves quantum paradoxes by refusing to ignore possibilities. Instead of asking which outcome happens, Everett says all of them do, just in different worlds. So next time you hesitate over a decision, remember, the universe isn't waiting for you to choose. It's already racing ahead, spinning off new realities where every version of you gets to find out what happens. And that's the ultimate freedom. But here's something that might surprise you. Long before modern physics put equations to the multiverse, ancient cultures were already dreaming it up. Let's rewind the clock to Secret 25, where mythology and cosmology collide in ways that'll make you wonder if our ancestors glimpsed deeper truths. Take Hindu texts, for example. Thousands of years ago, the Vedas described countless universes floating like bubbles in an endless cosmic ocean, each with its own gods, stories, and physical laws. Sound familiar? It's eerily close to today's bubble universe theory in physics. The Rig Veda even poses a question that could have come straight from a quantum physicist. Who truly knows? Whence this creation sprang, even the gods came after. Then there's Norse mythology with its 9 interconnected worlds, from Midgard, that's us, to Asgard, home of the gods. These realms weren't just separate places but layers of reality, tied together by Yggdrasil, the world tree. Modern multiverse theories echo this with brane cosmology, where universes stack like pages in a book separated by higher dimensions. Even indigenous Australian cultures spoke of the Dreamtime, a timeless dimension where all possibilities exist at once, shaping the physical world. Or the Buddhist concept of lokas, infinite realms coexisting like reflections in a hall of mirrors. So here's the kicker. Were these stories just imaginative myths, or did ancient thinkers intuit a truth science is now uncovering? Either way, it's humbling to realize that the multiverse isn't just a cutting-edge idea, it's one humanity's been piecing together for millennia. Next time you hear an old myth, listen closely. There might just be quantum physics hiding in the subtext. Now, let's shift gears to something that might make you rethink every stroke of luck or misfortune you've ever had. Secret 26 flips the idea of chance on its head. What if your so-called luck isn't random at all? What if every roll of the dice, every near miss, every unexpected windfall is just you riding one thread of an infinite tapestry of possibilities? Here's the mind bender. In the multiverse, probability isn't about odds, it's about perspective. Think of it like a cosmic choose-your-own-adventure book where every decision spawns new branches. That time you narrowly avoided a car accident, in another universe you didn't. The lottery ticket you almost bought but didn't. Some version of you is holding the winning numbers right now. This isn't just philosophical musing, it's rooted in quantum mechanics. The many worlds interpretation suggests that every quantum event splits reality. So when you flip a coin, it doesn't land on heads or tails. It lands on both in separate universes. Your luck is simply the path you're conscious of, while countless other yous experience every possible outcome. Ever had a gut feeling that saved you from disaster? Maybe that was your subconscious brushing against alternate timelines where things went wrong. Or consider déjà vu. What if it's a fleeting overlap with a universe where you did take that job, move to that city, or say yes instead of no, the takeaway? Luck might just be the universe's way of reminding you that you're living one version of a story with infinite endings. So next time fate smiles or frowns, remember, somewhere out there, another you is getting the opposite result. And that's the real magic of the multiverse. Now, let's zoom out to a cosmic scale where the multiverse isn't just branching, it's exploding outward at speeds that defy logic. Secret 27 reveals a staggering truth. The multiverse isn't just growing, it's sprinting faster than light itself. Picture this: our universe might be one bubble in a frothing cosmic sea, where each bubble is a separate reality with its own laws of physics. This is the heart of inflationary theory, the idea that right after the Big Bang, space expanded exponentially, stretching faster than light could travel. And here's the kicker: that expansion never really stopped. Beyond the edges of our observable universe, space could still be inflating, creating endless new bubble universes in its wake. Why does this matter? Because it means some parts of the multiverse are forever out of reach. Light from those distant bubbles will never catch up to us, leaving entire universes hidden behind an impenetrable cosmic horizon. It's like trying to shout across a canyon that's widening faster than your voice can travel. The message just won't make it, but here's where it gets wilder. Some physicists speculate that these bubble universes might collide, sending shockwaves through the fabric of reality. Imagine two soap bubbles merging, except instead of soap, it's space-time itself. If that ever happened, the energy released could rewrite the laws of physics in both universes. So next time you gaze at the night sky, remember, what you see is just a tiny fraction of existence. The rest is racing away, unreachable, as the multiverse expands into infinity, one hyperspeed bubble at a time. Now, let's take this idea even further, because what if you're not just living one life, but every possible version of it? Secret 28 flips the script on existence itself with a mind-bending twist. Quantum immortality isn't just about surviving against the odds, it's about experiencing every single path your life could take. Think of it like this: every decision you make, no matter how small, splits the universe into branches. In one, you take that job offer abroad. In another, you stay home. But here's the radical part: your consciousness isn't locked into just one of those timelines. Instead, you subjectively experience all of them. It's not that you're hopping between realities, it's that every possible you is being lived at once, like a symphony of parallel existences playing simultaneously. This isn't just philosophy, it's a direct extension of the many worlds interpretation. If every quantum possibility spawns a new universe, then there's a version of you for every choice, every chance, every roll of the dice. The you reading this right now is just one thread in an infinite tapestry of lives, each equally real. And here's where it gets personal. That gut feeling you sometimes get like you've already lived a moment before. Or the eerie sense that another version of you made a different choice. Under this theory, those could be faint echoes from your other selves brushing against your awareness. So the next time you wonder, what if I'd taken that other path? Take comfort. Somewhere out there in the multiverse you did, and you're living all the results in ways your brain can't even fathom. But here's something that might make gravity seem even stranger than you thought. Secret 29 reveals a startling idea. Gravity feels weak in our universe because it's literally leaking into others. Picture this: gravity is the odd one out among nature's forces. Electromagnetism, the strong nuclear force, and the weak nuclear force all pack a punch, but gravity, it's billions of times weaker. Why? String theory offers a wild explanation. Gravity isn't confined to our universe like the other forces. Instead, it seeps into hidden extra dimensions, spreading thin like water soaking through a sponge. Think of it like a flashlight in a dark room. If the room is small, the light stays bright and concentrated. But if the room has unseen hallways branching off, the light dims as it spills into those spaces. That's gravity's dilemma. It's not just working in our 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time. According to some models, there could be up to 7 extra dimensions curled up so tiny we'd never notice them, except for gravity's mysterious weakness. This isn't just theoretical hand-waving. Experiments with particle colliders are hunting for signs of these hidden dimensions. If gravity really is leaking, it would explain why dropping a pencil doesn't send you flying into space. The force tugging it down is just a fraction of its full strength, lost to realms beyond our perception. So next time you effortlessly lift a coffee cup, remember, you're not just overcoming gravity, you're outpacing a force that's stretched thin across the multiverse. And that changes everything we thought we knew about how reality holds together. Now, let's flip everything you know about the universe on its head, literally. Secret 30 introduces the mind-bending idea that our universe might have a mirror image twin, one where time flows backward from the Big Bang. This isn't science fiction, it's a serious hypothesis rooted in something called CPT symmetry. Here's how it works. CPT stands for charge, parity, and time. In physics, these are the 3 fundamental symmetries that govern how particles behave. Charge flips positive to negative, parity mirrors spatial dimensions like a reflection, and time reversal runs the clock backward. When you combine all 3, something fascinating happens. The laws of physics stay perfectly balanced as if nothing changed. Now imagine applying this to the entire cosmos. The anti-universe theory suggests that at the moment of the Big Bang, 2 universes were born, ours moving forward in time, and an identical twin where everything is inverted. Particles there would be antiparticles here, left becomes right, and cause and effect unfold in reverse. It's like watching a movie played backward, except this universe isn't just a rewind. It's a fully functioning reality with its own stars, planets, and maybe even life. Why would this make sense? For one, it could explain the mysterious imbalance between matter and antimatter in our universe. If the twin exists, it might hold the missing antimatter we've never been able to account for. It also neatly sidesteps the need for a singularity at the Big Bang, no infinitely dense point of origin, just a seamless mirroring of physics across 2 cosmic timelines. The wildest part, we might never detect this twin directly because it's not next to us in space, it's hidden in the opposite flow of time. But if the math holds, every action in our universe could have an equal and opposite reaction in that one, preserving the ultimate symmetry of existence. So the next time you drop a glass and watch it shatter, remember somewhere in the entire universe, shards are leaping off the floor to form a perfect cup. And that's just the beginning of the cosmic mirror's secrets. But what if the universe next door is trying to send us a message? Here's something that'll make you look at cosmic rays in a whole new light. Secret 31 suggests these high-energy particles raining down on Earth might not just be random space debris, they could be whispers from parallel realities. Think of cosmic rays like mysterious packages arriving from who knows where. These particles pack insane amounts of energy, sometimes millions of times stronger than anything we can create in particle colliders. Scientists have long wondered where they come from, but here's the twist. Some might originate from universes right beside ours, separated by dimensions we can't perceive. In string theory, our universe could be one of many floating like sheets called branes in a higher dimensional space. Occasionally, these branes might brush against each other, and when they do, energy could leak across. That's where cosmic rays come in. Imagine a civilization in a neighboring brane figuring out how to manipulate these collisions, encoding information in the energy patterns. Suddenly, what looks like background noise to us could be a deliberate transmission. Even wilder, some cosmic rays arrive with energies so high they defy known physics, dubbed "oh my god" particles. One theory suggests these outliers might be artifacts from universes with slightly different physical laws where such energies are commonplace. It's like finding a soda can that crumples inward instead of outward, proof the factory next door operates by different rules. Of course, we're still learning to read these potential messages. But if the math holds, every time a cosmic ray hits Earth's atmosphere, we might be catching a fragment of a reality where gravity is stronger, time runs slower, or someone out there is shouting across the dimensional divide. So next time you hear about a strange particle detection, ask yourself, was that just space weather or a hello from another version of everything? Now let's take this idea even further. What if the entire multiverse isn't just a collection of random realities, but a cosmic supercomputer running the ultimate calculation? Secret 32 flips the script on how we think about parallel universes, thanks to physicist David Deutsch's groundbreaking work. Imagine every branch of the multiverse as a processor in a vast quantum computer, crunching data simultaneously across infinite timelines. Here's how it works. In our world, computers solve problems one step at a time, but a quantum computer leverages superposition particles existing in multiple states at once to explore countless solutions in parallel. Deutsch realized this isn't just a quirk of quantum mechanics, it's a clue. If every quantum decision spawns new universes, as the many worlds interpretation suggests, then reality itself could be a computation where each branch represents a different thread-solving part of a larger equation. Think of it like a puzzle where every possible piece placement is tried at once across different dimensions. Our universe, just one of those attempts. This isn't sci-fi. Deutsch mathematically proved that a quantum computer could harness parallel universes to perform tasks impossible for classical machines, like cracking unbreakable codes or simulating complex molecules. The wildest part, if the multiverse is computing, what's it calculating? Some theorists speculated could be the evolution of consciousness, the fine-tuning of physical laws, or even the answer to why anything exists at all. Every time you make a choice, you're not just altering your future, you're adding another variable to the cosmos' grand equation. So next time your laptop freezes, remember, somewhere out there, an alternate version of you is running the same program in a universe where it works perfectly. The multiverse might not just be real, it could be the most advanced processor imaginable, and we're all part of its code. But here's something even more mind-bending to consider. What if death isn't the final curtain call, but just a shift in perspective? Secret 33 flips everything we think we know about mortality on its head. In an infinite multiverse, every possible outcome plays out somewhere, meaning there's always a version of you that keeps going. Think of it like flipping a coin. In one universe, it lands heads, in another, tails. Now apply that to life and death moments. If you narrowly avoid a car crash here, there's a universe where it happens, but also countless others where you swerve in time or never even take that road. The chilling yet comforting truth: your consciousness only experiences the timelines where you survive. This idea, called quantum immortality, suggests that from your subjective viewpoint, you'll always find yourself in a reality where you're alive. It doesn't mean you're invincible, just that death might be more like stepping out of one story and into another. Imagine an old book with endless alternate endings. Even if one copy burns, the others remain on the shelf. Critics argue this is just a thought experiment, but it raises wild questions. Could near-death experiences be glimpses of branches where we didn't make it? And if we're immortal in this statistical sense, what does that mean for how we live now? One thing's certain: in a multiverse, endings are never absolute, just doors closing while others swing open. Up next, we'll tackle an even darker twist. What if our entire universe is just one quantum hiccup away from vanishing? The answer lies in Secret 34, where reality's fragility takes center stage. Now, let's take a terrifying detour into one of the multiverse's most unsettling possibilities. What if our entire universe could vanish in an instant? Secret 34 reveals a cosmic doomsday scenario known as false vacuum decay, where the very fabric of reality might be hanging by a thread. Picture the universe like a bubble floating in an endless sea. Right now, that bubble seems stable, but what if it's actually perched on a knife's edge? Quantum physics suggests our universe exists in a false vacuum, a temporary state that could collapse into a lower energy true vacuum without warning. If that happens, a wave of destruction would race outward at the speed of light, rewriting the laws of physics as it goes. One moment, stars and planets exist; the next, they're erased, replaced by something utterly alien. The chilling part: we wouldn't see it coming. The collapse would be instantaneous, with no chance to react. But here's the multiverse twist: while our branch of reality might blink out of existence, countless other universes would continue untouched. It's like a candle snuffing out in one room of an infinite mansion. The rest of the house stays lit. Scientists argue the odds are astronomically low, but not zero. And if it happens, it's already happened somewhere. That's the paradox of infinite realities, the silver lining. If we're still here to ponder it, maybe our universe is one of the lucky ones. Or perhaps the decay is already underway in a parallel world, and we're just the version that hasn't noticed yet. Up next, we'll explore an even stranger idea. What if you've already switched universes without realizing it? Secret 35 holds clues that reality might be far more slippery than we think. Here's the next unsettling revelation. What if you've already slipped into a different universe without even noticing? Secret 35 dives into the bizarre world of quantum experiments that suggest reality might not be as fixed as we think. Take the famous double-slit experiment, where particles behave differently when observed. Scientists found something even weirder. Particles seem to remember paths they didn't actually take, as if multiple versions of events are overlapping. This isn't just a quirk of tiny particles. Some physicists argue it could mean our entire reality is constantly branching, and we're subtly shifting between versions without realizing it. Think of it like walking through a maze where the walls rearrange behind you. You'd never know the path changed. You'd just assume it was always that way. That's how reality might work. Ever had a gut feeling something was off? Like a detail in your life suddenly didn't match your memory. Some say those glitches could be echoes from the universe you left behind. The wildest part: quantum mechanics suggests these shifts aren't rare. They might happen all the time, with every decision or random event spawning new branches. So that you reading this now might not be the same you who started this video, just the one who stayed on this path. And now, brace yourself for an even bigger twist. What if the multiverse itself is alive? Secret 36 explores the radical idea that reality might be more than just physics, it could be conscious. Now, let's venture into one of the most mind-bending ideas yet. What if the multiverse isn't just a collection of lifeless dimensions, but something alive? Secret 36 flips the script entirely by suggesting that reality itself might be conscious. This isn't science fiction, it's a serious theory called panpsychism, the idea that consciousness isn't just a product of brains, but a fundamental feature of the universe. Think of it like this: every atom, every star, and even empty space might have a tiny spark of awareness. And when you scale that up to the multiverse, it implies that alternate realities could be like thoughts in a cosmic mind. We might not just live in the multiverse, we could be fragments of its self-awareness. Some physicists argue this solves a major mystery. Why does consciousness exist at all? If awareness is baked into the fabric of reality, then our minds aren't accidents, they're the universe waking up to itself. Picture a dream where you're both the dreamer and a character in the dream. That's how panpsychists see our relationship to the multiverse. Even wilder, this could mean alternate versions of you aren't just random branches, they're part of a vast, interconnected web of experience. Your choices, your memories, even your sense of self might ripple across realities, contributing to something bigger. So next time you gaze at the stars, consider this. You might not just be looking into space, you could be the universe looking back at itself. And with that, let's turn to an even more startling possibility. What if magic wasn't just fantasy, but a lost physics in some branches of the multiverse? Now, let's take a leap into the extraordinary. What if magic wasn't just the stuff of legends, but a forgotten law of physics in some corners of the multiverse? Secret 37 flips the script on fantasy by suggesting that spells, potions, and mythical creatures might not be pure imagination. In infinite realities, there could be branches where the rules of nature work so differently that what we call magic is just another form of science. Picture a universe where energy obeys incantations instead of equations, where waving a wand bends reality like gravity bends light. Ancient myths and folklore might not be mere stories. They could be faint echoes of timelines where these forces were real. Think of it like cultural déjà vu. Our ancestors' tales of wizards and dragons might be subconscious memories bleeding through from realities where those things actually existed. Here's where it gets even wilder. If the multiverse contains every possible variation of physics, then somewhere out there, a version of you might be casting fireballs instead of flipping light switches. The Harry Potter universe, it could be closer to reality than we think, just in a neighboring branch where quantum fluctuations lined up to make magic possible. And this isn't just speculation. Some physicists argue that if certain fundamental constants like the strength of gravity or the speed of light were tweaked even slightly, the universe would behave in ways we'd call supernatural. So next time you read a fairy tale, ask yourself, could this be a whisper from a world where the impossible was just another Tuesday? With that in mind, let's dive into another layer of the multiverse's strangeness. What if reality isn't smooth and continuous but pixelated like a video game? Now let's shift gears and zoom way in, to the very fabric of reality itself. What if our universe isn't a smooth, continuous expanse, but more like a digital image made of tiny, indivisible pixels? Secret 38 takes us down the rabbit hole of Planck length, the smallest possible measurement in existence, where space itself might be grainy at the most fundamental level. Think of it like this: when you look at a high-definition screen up close, you eventually see the individual pixels that make up the image. Now imagine reality works the same way. At scales 1 trillion times smaller than an atom, the universe could be pixelated, with each pixel being a Planck length about 1.6 times 10 to the power of -35 meters. Beyond this point, the concept of distance might not even make sense. Here's where alternate universes come into play. If our reality has a resolution, other universes could be running on entirely different rendering modes. Some might have finer pixels, allowing for smoother, more precise physics, while others could be coarser, making their laws of nature appear glitchy or unpredictable. It's like comparing an old 8-bit video game to a modern VR simulation. Both are real within their own frameworks, but the way they process reality is wildly different. This idea isn't just science fiction. Some theories in quantum gravity, like loop quantum gravity, suggest space-time might indeed be made of discrete quantized units. If that's true, then the multiverse could be a cosmic mosaic, with each universe tiled together in ways we're only beginning to imagine. So the next time you marvel at the seamless beauty of the night sky, remember, reality might just be the ultimate pixel art. And speaking of cosmic puzzles, let's tackle another mind bender. What if you're not just living in the multiverse, but actively shaping it with your thoughts? Now, let's turn the spotlight inward, because what if the multiverse isn't just happening around you, but because of you? Secret 39 flips the script on reality itself, suggesting that your consciousness might be the anchor point of your own personal universe. Here's the wild idea at the heart of quantum mechanics. Until something is observed, it exists in a blur of possibilities. Think of it like a cosmic choose-your-own-adventure book where every outcome is written, but the act of reading collapses the story into one path. In the same way, your awareness could be the force that pins down a single version of reality from the infinite options swirling in the quantum foam. This isn't just philosophy, it's rooted in the famous double-slit experiment where particles behave differently when they're being watched. Without an observer, they act like waves spreading out in all possible directions. But the moment you measure them, they snap into a single, definite location. Some interpretations, like the von Neumann-Wigner hypothesis, take this even further, proposing that consciousness itself is what triggers this collapse. So what does that mean for the multiverse? Picture a vast cosmic library where every book is a universe with slightly different events. By observing your life, you're not just reading one book, you're pulling it off the shelf and making it real while the other versions remain untouched. It's a dizzying thought. Your choices, your attention, even your curiosity might be sculpting the universe you experience, while other yous in parallel branches do the same for theirs. And if that's true, then the ultimate mystery isn't just where the multiverse came from, it's why this version, with all its quirks and wonders, is the one you're here to witness. But hold on, what if the multiverse isn't just shaped by observation, but by something even stranger, something like pressure from other realities? Now, let's stretch our minds even further, because what if the very fabric of our universe is being nudged by unseen neighbors? Secret 40 dives into one of cosmology's biggest puzzles, dark energy. Scientists know our universe isn't just expanding, it's accelerating, as if some invisible force is pushing galaxies apart faster and faster. But what if that force isn't coming from inside our universe at all? Here's the radical idea. Dark energy might actually be pressure from other universes pressing against ours in higher dimensional space. Picture a crowded elevator where everyone's squeezing inward, except instead of people, its entire reality's jostling for room in the cosmic bulk. Our universe isn't expanding into empty nothingness. It might be elbowing its way through a sea of parallel worlds we can't see. This ties into string theory's wildest predictions. If our universe is a three-dimensional brane floating in a higher dimensional arena, then neighboring branes could be mere millimeters away in a direction we can't perceive. Every time one of those universes shifts or expands, it might press against ours like a balloon squeezing another balloon, creating the repulsive force we call dark energy. The math even checks out. Calculations show that brane collisions could generate exactly the kind of acceleration we observe. No mysterious dark energy particle required. It's as if the multiverse itself is breathing and we're feeling the exhale. So next time you hear about the universe's runaway expansion, remember, it might not be some abstract force at work. It could be the weight of infinite other realities just out of reach, shaping the destiny of everything we know. And speaking of unseen forces, what if some of them aren't just pushing but communicating? But here's something even more mind-bending. What if the multiverse isn't just pushing against us but actively connecting to us? Secret 41 takes us into the bizarre world of time crystals, structures so strange they sound like science fiction. Imagine a clock that ticks forever without any energy, a perpetual motion machine that defies the usual rules of physics. That's essentially what a time crystal is, a four-dimensional arrangement of atoms that repeats not just in space, but in time, creating an unbreakable cycle of motion. Now here's where it gets wild. Scientists theorize these time crystals could act like cosmic glue, stabilizing wormholes between parallel universes. Think of them as the scaffolding that holds open a tunnel through higher dimensional space, preventing it from collapsing long enough for information, or even matter, to cross between worlds. Unlike ordinary wormholes, which would snap shut instantly under gravity's pull, time crystals might provide the rhythmic pulses needed to keep these bridges intact. This isn't just speculation. Lab experiments have already created primitive time crystals using chains of ions or superconducting qubits. While we're light years away from building a working wormhole, these experiments hint that nature might already be using time crystals in ways we don't yet understand. Some physicists even suggest that black holes could contain natural time crystals, acting as hidden gatekeepers between realities. So picture this, scattered across the cosmos, these shimmering, self-repeating structures could be quietly humming, weaving invisible threads between alternate versions of existence. And if we ever learn to harness them, well, that's when the real adventure begins. Now, let's take this idea even further. Because what if the multiverse isn't just connected, but projected from somewhere else entirely? But what if the connections between universes aren't just tunnels? What if they're projections? Here's where things get even stranger. Secret 42 flips reality inside out with the holographic principle, the idea that our three-dimensional universe might actually be a shadow cast by a two-dimensional surface. Picture a movie screen. Everything you see has depth and movement, but it's all just light projected from a flat surface. Now imagine that on a cosmic scale. This isn't just a wild metaphor, it's rooted in cutting-edge physics. The holographic principle suggests that all the information in our universe, from swirling galaxies to your thoughts right now, could be encoded on a distant, two-dimensional boundary like a cosmic hard drive. Black holes gave scientists the first clue. When matter falls into a black hole, its information doesn't vanish. It gets smeared across the event horizon, the point of no return. That means a black hole's surface might hold a perfect, albeit scrambled, copy of everything that fell inside. Now tie that to the multiverse. In brain-world scenarios, our universe could be a three-dimensional brane, floating in higher dimensional space with gravity leaking into other dimensions. But here's the twist. If the holographic principle is true, our brain might not even be the real universe. It could just be a projection from a simpler, flatter reality. Think of it like a cosmic mirage, where the richness of 3D space is an illusion generated by quantum data on a 2D surface. Some theorists take this further, suggesting that alternate universes might just be different projections from the same underlying code. It's like changing the settings on a projector, same light source, entirely different movie. If that's true, then every possible version of reality, from a world where dinosaurs never went extinct to one where you're a pirate, could just be different renderings of the same fundamental information. So next time you look at a shadow, remember, you might be one too, and somewhere in the flickering data of a two-dimensional boundary, infinite versions of you are waiting to be projected. Now let's take quantum immortality to its most extreme and unsettling conclusion. Imagine surviving events so catastrophic they defy all logic. A nuclear blast vaporizes your city, but somehow you walk away unscathed. An asteroid wipes out civilization, yet you're still here, blinking in the rubble. How? Because in the infinite branching of the multiverse, there's always a universe where the unthinkable doesn't kill you. This isn't just sci-fi speculation. The many worlds interpretation suggests that every quantum event spawns new realities. So when you face certain death, your consciousness doesn't experience the timelines where you perish. It follows the vanishingly rare branch where you, against all odds, survive. Think of it like a cosmic game of Russian roulette with infinite chambers. No matter how many times the trigger's pulled, there's always one universe where the gun jams. But here's where it gets truly bizarre. The longer you cheat death, the more absurd your survival scenarios become. Maybe you're the sole survivor of a planet-killing supernova because in one universe out of trillions, the explosion mysteriously fizzles around you. Or perhaps you're the last human in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, not because you're lucky, but because your awareness keeps hopping to timelines where someone survives, and that someone is always you. Critics argue this is solipsism taken to extremes, but the math doesn't lie. In an infinite multiverse, even the most improbable events must happen somewhere. So the next time you narrowly avoid disaster, ask yourself, did you get lucky or did countless versions of you not? Now, let's pivot to a theory that flips the Fermi paradox on its head. What if aliens aren't just avoiding us, they're protecting the multiverse from us? Here's the mind-bending idea. Advanced civilizations might understand something we're only starting to grasp. Every act of observation, every measurement we make, collapses quantum probabilities into a single reality. In other words, our curiosity could be rewriting the fabric of existence without us even realizing it. Think of it like this. Imagine a lab where scientists study delicate quantum systems. Even the slightest disturbance, a breath, a glance can ruin the experiment. Now scale that up to a cosmic level. If highly advanced beings exist, they'd know that a species like ours, fumbling with quantum mechanics and particle colliders, could accidentally trigger unpredictable ripple effects across the multiverse. So their solution, a galactic quarantine. They steer clear of Earth not because we're uninteresting, but because we're dangerous. This isn't just wild speculation. The zoo hypothesis in astrobiology has long suggested aliens might be observing us from afar. But in a multiverse context, it's not about ethics, it's about survival. One wrong observation, one experiment that nudges quantum states the wrong way, and entire branches of reality could destabilize. So next time you wonder why we haven't met extraterrestrials, consider this. Maybe they're not hiding from us. Maybe they're hiding us for everyone's sake. And here's the kicker. If they're this careful, what does that say about the multiverse's fragility? Are we one clumsy experiment away from unraveling realities we can't even comprehend? Food for thought, but maybe don't think too hard. After all, someone might be watching. Now, let's take a step into one of the most personal and profound secrets of the multiverse. What if your very thoughts are shaping the reality around you? This isn't just philosophy, it's rooted in quantum mechanics' infamous measurement problem. Here's the idea. At the quantum level, particles exist in a haze of probabilities until they're observed. The act of observation, whether by a scientist or your own awareness, collapses those probabilities into a single outcome. Now scale that up to the multiverse. Every decision, every thought you have might not just influence your reality. It could be selecting which universe branch you experience next. Think of it like flipping through channels on a cosmic TV. Each possible version of events exists in parallel, but your consciousness is the remote control, tuning into one specific channel moment by moment. This isn't just speculation. Physicists like John von Neumann and Eugene Wigner argued that consciousness plays a fundamental role in quantum outcomes. In a multiverse teeming with infinite possibilities, your focus, your intentions, even your subconscious biases could be steering you towards certain timelines while others fade away. Here's where it gets wild. If this is true, then your bad day might not just be bad luck. It could be the universe branch where your thoughts or expectations aligned with that outcome. Conversely, those moments of serendipity, they might be glimpses of timelines where your mental state resonated with a more favorable version of events. It's not magic, it's physics with a twist. The multiverse doesn't just split when particles interact, it might also bend to the weight of your attention. So next time you catch yourself thinking, "I always have the worst luck," pause. In a sea of infinite realities, your mind might be the compass, and you're the one choosing the storm. Now let's shift gears to something even more mind-bending. What if the entire multiverse isn't just a collection of random branches, but something far more structured? Imagine reality itself as a vast cosmic neural network, where every universe is like a single iteration in an unimaginably powerful artificial intelligence's training process. Here's how this wild idea works. In machine learning, neural networks improve by testing countless versions of themselves, learning from each iteration to get closer to some optimal outcome. Now apply that to the multiverse. Each alternate reality could be a trial run, a unique configuration of physics, laws, and events, all contributing to some grand cosmic optimization. Maybe the multiverse isn't just expanding, it's evolving, refining itself with every new branch that forms. Think of it like this: if our universe seems fine-tuned for life, it might not be luck. It could be that countless other universes with different constants failed to support complexity, and we're simply in one of the successful iterations. This isn't just sci-fi. Some physicists have toyed with the idea that reality could be a self-improving system, with universes acting like data points in a cosmic algorithm. And here's the kicker: if this is true, then every choice, every event might not just be random. It could be part of a deeper learning process, with the multiverse itself adapting based on what works. Whether that's the emergence of life, the rise of consciousness, or even the eventual fate of reality, we might be living inside the ultimate AI's training simulation, one where every possible outcome is tested, and only the most resilient universes endure. So the next time you marvel at the universe's complexity, ask yourself, are we just one experiment in an endless cosmic trial and error process, or is there something even bigger at play? Now, let's take a step into the uncanny. What if those eerie moments when you swear you've seen your own double weren't just tricks of the mind, but actual glimpses into parallel realities? Across cultures and centuries, people have reported encounters with doppelgangers, mirror images of themselves appearing out of nowhere, only to vanish without a trace. And then there's the Tibetan concept of tulpas, thought forms so vividly imagined they take on a life of their own. But what if these phenomena aren't just folklore or hallucinations? Here's where the multiverse theory throws us a curveball. Imagine that for a split second, the walls between closely aligned universes grow thin. In that moment, a version of you from a nearly identical timeline bleeds into yours, creating the illusion of a double. These overlaps could explain why doppelgangers often appear during moments of high stress or déjà vu, times when quantum probabilities might be unusually unstable. Think of it like radio signals briefly crossing frequencies. Most of the time, universes stay neatly separated, but under rare conditions they interfere. A tulpa, then, might not just be a mental construct, it could be your subconscious tapping into another you's existence, pulling their image or energy into your reality. Even more unsettling, some accounts describe doppelgangers who interact with their surroundings, suggesting these aren't just visual glitches, but temporary mergers of two versions of the same person. So the next time you catch a flicker of movement in the mirror or spot someone who looks just like you across the street, consider this: you might not be alone. Somewhere in the multiverse, another you is just as real, just as confused, and for one fleeting moment, your reality's touched. But let's shift our gaze even further back before parallel versions of you, before black holes as gateways, before the Big Bang itself. What if the birth of our universe wasn't a one-time explosion, but the cosmic equivalent of a baby universe being born from a white hole? Here's the mind-bending idea. A white hole is the theoretical opposite of a black hole. Instead of sucking everything in, it spews matter and energy outward. And some physicists suggest our entire cosmos could have erupted from one. Picture a black hole in a parent universe collapsing inward, but on the other side of that collapse, a white hole bursts into existence, birthing a new space-time. Our Big Bang, then, might have been that moment of eruption. Even wilder, this process could be infinite. Every black hole in our universe might spawn a white hole elsewhere, creating a fresh universe with its own laws of physics. It's like a cosmic Russian nesting doll, where each layer is a self-contained reality born from the death of another. And if that's true, our universe isn't just one branch of the multiverse. It's a child of a grander, older cosmos, destined to birth universes of its own. So the next time you look up at the night sky, remember, those distant black holes might not be endings at all. They could be cosmic wombs waiting to unleash new worlds. Now let's untangle one of the most baffling puzzles of existence: free will. At first glance, it feels like you're calling the shots, making choices that shape your life. But here's the twist. In the multiverse, every possible decision you could make does happen, just in different branches of reality. So while it feels like you're freely choosing pizza over salad tonight, there's another version of you doing the opposite, and countless others picking every imaginable option in between. This doesn't mean free will is a total illusion, though. It's more like a cosmic lottery. Your consciousness only experiences one outcome at a time, plucked randomly from the infinite possibilities. Think of it like flipping a quantum coin. Heads, you take the job offer. Tails, you turn it down. Both happen. You just live one result, the eerie part. You'll never know what the other you experienced. This flips classic debates on their head. Philosophers argue whether our paths are predestined or self-determined, but the multiverse says both. Every choice is made, yet from your perspective, it feels undecided until the moment it happens. Even the act of questioning free will right now spawned universes where you agreed, disagreed, or clicked away entirely. So next time you agonize over a decision, remember, somewhere another you already took the leap. And that's the real magic, not whether you're free, but that every version of you gets to live a life uniquely their own. Here's the script section for Secret 50. Now, let's wrap this cosmic journey with a twist that'll make your head spin. You're experiencing this very moment in countless other universes too. That's right, infinite versions of you are watching this video right now, but with tiny or maybe massive differences. Maybe in one reality, you pause to grab a snack halfway through. In another, you're wearing a different shirt, or this video has a slightly altered script. Somewhere out there, a version of you even skipped it entirely. This isn't just speculation, it's the inevitable conclusion of the multiverse. If every possible outcome exists, then every possible way you could have interacted with this content does exist. The eerie part, you'll never know what those other yous are thinking or how their timelines diverged. Maybe one of them gasped at a secret we didn't cover here, or laughed at a joke that didn't land in this universe. So why does this matter? Because it means your experience is both utterly unique and wildly common. You're the protagonist of your own story, but also one of infinite variations, each equally real. Next time you rewatch this, remember, somewhere, another you is hearing these words for the first time, or the 100th, and that's the ultimate multiverse mic drop. You're never alone, even when you think you are. And with that, we've reached the end of our journey through the multiverse, but let's take one last look at the wildest ideas that might still be echoing in your mind. Remember the infinite versions of you existing right now, or the spine-tingling possibility that black holes could be cosmic backdoors to other realities. How about the eerie thought that your déjà vu might be a glitch from a parallel timeline? Multiverse theory doesn't just stretch our imagination, it shatters the very idea of a single fixed reality. Think about it, every choice, every chance event, every roll of the cosmic dice spawns new universes. That means somewhere out there, a version of you is living a life so different, it might as well be science fiction, while another is so similar, they're probably also watching this video. This isn't just about alternate histories or futuristic physics. It's about realizing that existence is far stranger, grander, and more interconnected than we ever dared to dream. Now we want to hear from you. Which of these 50 secrets blew your mind the most? Drop your favorites in the comments, and while you're there, debate with other viewers. Could the Mandela effect really be universe-hopping memories? Is dark matter just gravity leaking in from next door? The multiverse thrives on possibilities, so let's keep the conversation exploding. And if you're hungry for more cosmic mysteries, don't go anywhere. We've got mind-bending deep dives coming on string theories, hidden dimensions, the simulation hypothesis, and even wilder ideas that'll make the multiverse seem tame. Hit subscribe and ring that notification bell, because reality is about to get even weirder. Thanks for watching, and remember, wherever you are in the multiverse, this version of you just leveled up their understanding of everything. See you in the next video.